necklace. And it goes into the kitchen on the dirty dishes. And I'm scared to death that, like, the waiter's going to see them. I'm actually into this heist a little bit, thinking that the busboy is going to end up with the $150 million necklace.
They should have done that. It would have been more fun.
But a little production thing, it goes in, and Amita is posing as a dishwasher. She puts the diamonds in the dirty dishwater, and the camera goes with it. Did you guys notice the score? It sounded like music underwater at that point. It got all muted and kind of bubbly, and then when the camera came back out of the water, it went normal again. Nice little touch. This film's got so few of them.
The score is kind of half doing the bebop jazz that the Oceans Clooney era did, but
it's trying.
They know they don't need to push it that hard because we've moved beyond that. We aren't searching to recapture that era, so they're really just doing enough of it to make it feel like an Oceans movie.
Yeah, every so often I'd write down, ooh, this score kind of reminds me of the first one, so I like it, but mostly it's pretty bland. But These Boots Are Made for Walking is a little less conversation.
Yeah, that's when I got into it.
It is funny that they play it as they're all walking out. None of them are wearing boots, I don't think. I think they're all wearing heels. But...
And again, it's a female Sinatra. It's Nancy Sinatra's song.
When this heist goes down, again, they want to sell us, oh, this is so super hard. There are cameras everywhere. And when that necklace goes missing, they have to clear the room. But then Tammy, for some reason, everyone is just willing to go along with this. Oh, look, I found the jewels in this fountain.
Well, that was never the plan.
But why does anyone believe that? Why does the security guards, they should be questioning Tammy a whole lot more. The fact that this is so easy for them is very upsetting.
Yes, it is way too easy, and it happens too early. I can't believe that after they do the heist, remember Ocean's 11, they do the heist, it's finally over, we get to see them staring at the Bellagio with the music playing, it's that wonderful moment as they one by one fall off, and the movie's over then. It's done. We have the heist here, and they get out, and we still have like a half an hour of movie left where the single best comedic presence, James Corden, comes in way too late. He should have been the one who was brought in the moment they asked about the necklace. He was there the whole time. He was the enemy and also a funny presence, not, hey, the heist has gone down. Now I'm an insurance investigator who's either going to find the necklace or find the fraud. He's great when he's talking about, I've seen thoroughbred racehorses thrown in leaf shredders.
Yeah.
It's too little too late of that energy. I want to say where I'm at, though, the way Stuart did. I'm enjoying the film as it is. I'm just disappointed in it. I'm having fun, but I'm not having the fun I should be having. I expected more. This movie is not living up to its potential, if I can quote what every teacher told me in high school. It could have done so much more with what it had, and instead it's passing the time, but I just couldn't believe how much after the heist there was.
For me, at this point, I'm like, I'm not hating it. It's kind of boring. It's kind of blah. It's just kind of there. When you get the moment where, as weird as it is, all the women are going to show up in their fashion gowns with their jewelry on, I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of like this. This is finally getting that energy of the original Oceans film. And then James Corden comes in for like 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm into this. Oh, the film's over.
I'm surprised you guys like Corden as much as you do. He does nothing for me here.
Did you see how unfunny the rest of this film is?
He makes almost no impression. I'm feeling like they need to use more of the fashion industry. They have Anna Wintour in this film. They have Kim Kardashian in this film. Isn't she the inspiration for this whole thing anyway? Remember when she had that robbery in 2016 that everyone alleged she and Kanye staged a jewel robbery so that they could get more publicity? I feel like it would have been fun to bring that in here. Here, it's just quick clips, but maybe because they can't act or maybe they don't want to take the time to film a movie, but it just feels like, wow, you have these elements, but you don't use them. And again, you have these actresses and you're not getting the best out of them. And I just feel like time and time again, everything is very surface.
And the only twist we get in all of this is that Daphne, Anne Hathaway, figures it out. She's on to them. She's not as stupid as she had pretended to be. She never pukes. And Rose was not at all subtle with her camera phone taking pictures of the magnet. And Daphne saw Debbie at the gala, and so she wants in, or she's going to turn them all in to John Fraser.
I would like this more if she figured it out at the party and we saw in real time her turning and seeing how she could use it to her advantage. Again, the fact that so much is done off screen, I know that's an element of the heist stuff, and because I want more complication, I want more machinations, I want more things happening in the foreground and in the background, that this is almost the last seconds of the movie when we find out that she was one of them feels like a mistake. I wanted to see her play with the other girls.
And the fact that they beat Fraser by just buying him off, and a very simple solution. They don't beat him. They just say, hey, we'll give you 10%. Help us frame this guy.
Is that what they did? They gave him 10%? I thought they were saying that they were going to give him 10% to take back to the insurance agency. I didn't realize he was pocketing that 10%. I wondered what the hell was going on because he knows Debbie did it. They get together at a diner and Debbie's like, I'm going to hand you Claude. What would you say for 10%? I thought he was taking that back and being like, we found the diamond thief because he has 10%.
Well, all the money they make from selling that necklace, I'm assuming he gets to take back because they get these old women to go and auction it off as their own jewelry. But then early on, Deborah's like, oh, I'm trying to get into this account. I just want to make a deposit. That's going to come up in the third act here where she puts all that money into Becker's account, which I guess they shared when they were working together.
No, they didn't. That's why she needed to make the deposit and get the number.
Oh, okay. But I'm assuming they're going to get all their money back and get the jewels back from there. So the insurance is good. But yeah, they stole these other jewels and they're going to give 10% to Fraser.
Yeah, and they needed Anne Hathaway, not only because she might have turned them in, but because she can plant the diamond on her date, which is Claude. Another silly thing that they just kind of put them together, and without really exploring why, he just became her date for the gala, and then she goes back to him, sends a photo on her phone, and that gives James Corden enough evidence to march in there and make that arrest.
Here's the biggest logical hole in this movie I have to ask. So Daphne's in the team. She's going to help frame Claude.
Yeah.
She goes up there and she's playing all sex kitten and writhing on him, and she takes him to bed and handcuffs him. Then she's like, I'll be right back, and goes, gets the diamonds. She knows exactly where they are in the coat, photographs them. He's still handcuffed. He's like, where are you? We then cut to the next day. He's not handcuffed. He's waking up. What happened in between there? Now, knowing this movie is what it is, I'm sure Daphne didn't sleep with him, but I would have liked to have seen at what point she takes the handcuffs off of him and why he doesn't immediately think that bitch set me up because that's why she handcuffed me.
I don't know if you saw Red Sparrow this year with J-Law, who has a Russian spy that used their trade, used their sexuality to get this kind of stuff. I was kind of thinking, yeah, she went through with it to get this money.
I didn't even think about it at all. Again, it's not that I need every loop closed.
And that's not the biggest plot hole, Arnie. There's a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. There are larger things at work here.
Well, yes, the pacing and the fact that we're still going on about this heist that was successful, and then the big twist at the end is not even to get them out of danger. It's that Rihanna says, wait, you only sold this for $85 million. How are we all getting $13 million? Oh, wait, there's more. We stole more jewels because we brought yen from the older film.
We had to bring in a dude, finally, to really make the money.
I thought you didn't want a him. You wanted a her, but it's so convenient here at the end.
It reminded me what this movie needed, which is that here's somebody that's an acrobat that is doing some really complicated stuff to get over those laser trigger alarms. You want that. You want to see people work really hard to steal something. And this reminded you that it was, I mean, we had seen in an earlier shot, Lou had bought like a toy boat, and that was the setup for this scene. But I felt like it should require a lot more than a toy boat and someone from Oceans 11 to solve this problem.
Yeah, I loved the laser grid he had to work his way through. It would have been wonderful if that had actually been a plot point. Like, oh my God, there's this laser grid, and we have to practice, and we have to set up demos the way they did in Ocean's 11. They didn't here.
But this is the big twist that they don't want to reveal, like they do in all those Oceans films, except they kept showing that room. So I'm like, oh, there's jewels in there. They want those ones too.
I can't say that I guessed it, but again, it also doesn't feel like it's that amazing either.
Here's the most upsetting thing to me with this film. The end of that Ocean's 11, they all kind of just walk away. And it's a big deal. You can't spend this money right away. Andy Garcia's going to find you. Here, it shows us what they all do with their money. All of a sudden, they're all super rich, and Nine Balls got her own billiards parlor.
I'm fine with all of it, except for Aquafina's Constance, who's like a baller on social media saying, look at all my money, look at all my stuff. I mean, it is a step away from James Franco's look at my shit from Spring Breakers on YouTube or Insta or something. I'm like, the cops are coming for you, or at least the IRS is. But all of them getting off a subway at different stops is no Bellagio fountain, is it?
No, but my issue is with what they went through, they didn't work as hard to get there. So, of course, the epiphany is not going to be as meaningful.
And did Daphne need $30 million extra to become a director?
Isn't that what she makes a picture?
I would think she makes at least 10 and has done more than 3 pictures.
But that's what I like about it, is she didn't do it for the money. She did it because she didn't know any females, like she wanted girlfriends. She was bored. She parlayed this into a directing gig with a lookalike of herself. I thought was actually the best punchline of this epilogue here, where we see everyone.
Yeah, I did love when she's like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, that was fun. Faster and more intense. I mean, we all know that line.
Yeah, faster and more deranged. But isn't it kind of sad about Debbie Ocean? She did her big score, the thing she wanted to do. Lou leaves. I don't know where Lou goes. She's motorcycling off of a beautiful coastline.
Well, I got the sense that she was unhappy running her bar. We see her in the beginning kind of just trying to make an extra buck by watering down the vodka. She was tied down and she wanted to be free. So now she's hitting the road while other women are getting their businesses, like Rose and Constance. This is someone that is freed again to do whatever she's going to do.
But Debbie, she has all this money. She has no dream. Everybody else has their dream. They're living the dream. She has all this money. She goes to a grave with a martini. That is a downer ending.
And again, I thought Clooney was going to walk up behind her and pick up that martini. Did not happen.
We're going to have to take her word that Clooney would have loved it. That was the sentiment, that what she pulled off would have really impressed her brother. And hopefully it did. I mean, maybe I haven't heard in the press whether Clooney has said publicly what he thought of the film. I know he didn't want to make another Oceans film, but I don't think he would mind that Bullock has carried on the torch.
Well, do you guys mind? Jacob Stewart, do you recommend Oceans 8? Jacob.
I think we've hit the big problems with this film. Characters and conflict. They're both not there. Again, there was infighting. There was antagonists with those other Oceans films. This one just didn't seem to have that. There's some style. Like, I like how Cate Blanchett looks and her swagger. And I like that moment where they all get to put on the ball gowns and the jewelry and like walk out of the gala. All that's cool. That feels like an Oceans film. But at the end of the day, I couldn't tell you anything about these characters, who they are, who's Lou, who's Deborah. I don't know what makes them up. I think the scene that's most telling for me is at one point, Lou, Cate Blanchett's character, is in that Hala truck and she's going to leave and someone's like, hey, make us a sandwich real quick. And she's like, I gotta go, we're closed. Come on, just do it real quick. And you see her pick up the knife and carve something. I'm like, oh, this is gonna delay her and that's gonna cause problems. Nope. I don't know if that was a joke. I don't know what the point of that scene was. It goes nowhere, but I kept waiting for some kind of hang up to this plan that never happens. And at the end of the day, it's kind of a harmless film, but it's just not very interesting. So not recommend.
Stewart.
To me, the math works out right. I mean, Ocean's 8 is about as 2/3 as good as Ocean's 11. It's a lesser film, and it's not a lesser film because they went with an all-female cast. They have the charisma to pull it off. It doesn't work as well because the script doesn't make them work for it. They made Clooney and his gang really work to rob that casino. And here, it's just way too easy for them. It's too easy for the audience. Again, Rihanna's painting her nails. I mean, you can sense that they don't even need the 8 that they have here. So that's too bad. It is a mild recommend, though. I'm going to take a different stance than Jacob because I do feel like their energy is enough. It's an easy enough watch. I didn't laugh a lot, but I enjoyed myself. I thought that it had its own kind of swagger. It kept the franchise above that median line from being mediocre bad. That is all the reason. The heist is just good enough to support these ladies being entertaining for their audience. So
it's mediocre good, not mediocre bad.
Right.
That's why it's a recommend.
yes, that is exactly why it is.
It's not Ocean's 12, is what you're saying.
Exactly. And it has its own swagger. But yeah, I spent the whole time wishing if there was one man that they needed, it was Soderbergh. As Arnie said, watch Logan Lucky. He still got it. He has the power to have delivered the script and the film that they deserved. And for whatever reason, he made Unsane instead, and they were stuck with a director that did not help them fulfill their dreams.
It's not as good as Ocean's 11 by a long shot. It's not as bad as Ocean's 12 by a long shot. So it's in that area of Ocean's 13. In a movie that stars a lot of women who own the screen, the failure here is a man, and his name is Gary Ross.